What up, y'all? Rap Critic here, and it's about that time for the worst lyrics of 2024. Let's get started. So we had to start off with the battle of the year that everyone probably forgot about, Nicki Minaj versus Megan Thee Stallion.
Been trill, been doing it, been at it.
Your flow is such a bore.
So Nicki Minaj released this diss track in direct response to a song Meg released called Hiss at the beginning of the year, where she said,
"These hoes don't be mad at Megan, these hoes mad at Megan's law,"
calling out the child predators and their affiliates that exist throughout the music industry, which it turns out wasn't going to be the only diss track to do that this year. Now, a lot of people have been rumored to be who she was talking about, but of course, most people just presumed it was a guy. However, because of Nicki having a brother and current husband who both just so happened to be registered as sex offenders, she was one of the big names people were throwing around. And it didn't help that not even an hour after its release, Nicki posted a snippet of the response she was working on, which included the lines,
This little begging whore, talking about Megan's law. For a free beat, you get hit Megan raw.
Problem was, Megan never even hinted that it was about Nicki Minaj. Like, nothing in the way she worded things ever even sounded like it was supposed to be about a female rapper, so for Nicki to hop on that line like that, it kind of seemed like, have you ever heard the phrase, a hit dog will holler? Well, this one was hollering all over IG Live, and people took notice. Yeah, just for her to answer such a general line like that, it just in and of itself telegraphs the idea that you do think you're who she's talking about. So anything you say after that doesn't address that is only gonna feel like you're talking around that point.
Is it my fault I got good vagina? Why the fuck is you humping on a minor?
Nicki, you're the one with the brother and the husband who've been accused of sexual assault with minors, right? So to try to pull a I know you are, but what am I back at her, that doesn't work when she isn't actually affiliated with any, and you are.
Sigh. How you fucking mother knew when she died?
And what? Where the fuck is this claim coming from? Seriously, this wasn't like something people heard on the rumor mill and she's spreading it around or something. This is just a completely made up attack. And I know rap beefs are all about exaggerating the truth a bit, but there has to be a truth from which to exaggerate in the first place. Unless, does Nicki Minaj think winning a rap battle just means saying shitty things about the other person regardless of how believable it actually is? She says I'm a kid diddler because I'm affiliated with them, but what if I said, no, you? Yeah, that'll even the playing field.
Bad bitch, she like 6 foot. I call her Bigfoot.
Oh no, a woman who's tall? Ugh, gross, am I right? Yeah, really channeling the energy of an 80s male comedy writer with that one.
Boss, I need a good alcohol bar. Roman, wait, that was the bar. Like a bodybuilder, I keep raising the bar.
Rhyming bar with bar with bar. The self-proclaimed queen of rap, everyone.
Fuck you, get shot with no scar.
Oh, wow. So just to hit Megan with anything you could, you actually went all in on accusing her of lying about getting shot by her ex-boyfriend. Nicki, there's a reason why you shouldn't just lie and bullshit in your diss tracks. Cause hey, if the person you're talking about can later post concrete evidence of the scars they got, you're gonna look like a real desperate lying piece of shit. The man just sounds like a baby now. I mean, I know there's mumble rap that's labeled that way because of how rappers lean into their accents, but this isn't an accent thing. This is distinctly the sound of a whiny infant batting away some food it doesn't like. Genius is saying that he's saying, oh yeah there, but no, the way he's saying it makes him specifically sound like a whining baby. Specifically a whining baby that just pooped itself. And please, can it be a rapper who's actually putting in some goddamn effort for once?
It's everything! I'm everything!
Hey, wait a minute. The next rapper on this worst of list is Doechii? But that can't be right. Everything I've heard from her is fucking flames, man. And way better than Future mouth farting like a baby.
Boom back, rap, rappity rap, rappity rap, boom bap, bat.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
They said they can't, but they said they want me to rap.
Alright, yes, we do.
Of course we do.
Quit fucking around and do it.
You know exactly what it is. The choir gon' sing what it is. Top 100, what it is. Numero uno, what it is.
Are you just gonna rhyme what it is with itself?
Favorite song, what it is. Turn me on, what it is. Even the moms know what it is, but y'all niggas can't see what it is.
What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck is it?
I don't know.
What it is, what the fuck is it? Boom bap cap, boom bap rap, boom bap cap, boom bap.
Damn it, Doechii, you're embarrassing me in front of the backpackers. Guys, I seriously don't know what's going on. She's not normally like this. I mean, she is, but usually all her weird vocal inflections are accompanied by words that make sense and actually rhyme.
Get top on the phone. Tell him it's a rap, nigga. Get top on the phone.
Yeah, with this material, I don't think this is gonna be the Back to the Future Chuck Berry phone call you think it's gonna be. I know it's cliche to say something sounds like a chatbot wrote it at this point, but I really don't know what else to think with how incoherent this is. It's not clever enough to feel like a parody of boom bap era hip hop, and after a while, it's just too sloppy to feel like it's really doing anything.
Get him on the way.
Like, is this what you think boom bap rap sounds like? But hey, it's not all bad though. At least I could make a good meme out of playing the first couple seconds of the track over that TikTok of the guy doing 90s rap music video poses.
Boom bap, rap, rappity rap, rappity rap, boom bap, 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 bap.
So, you know, there's that.
Yes, sir, baby. On the Radar Radio performances. Yo, David Blunt's in the building, performing Crying in the Kitchen right here. I'm gonna step out, he gonna step in. All right, let's go.
All right, so this is Dave Bluntz, a bit of a novelty rapper that kicked off due to a weird combination of, one, people being concerned about his struggles with his weight, and two, him catching heat because of, well, lyrics like this.
Bitches in my phone, they be so basic. And I love all my niggas, not no gay shit.
And this.
That's when I start smoking weed and picking up bad habits. And I love all my niggas, but I promise I'm not a faggot.
Yeah, like, specifically this. He also has a song called Bundle of Sticks. Can you guess how it goes?
And I walk around with a bundle of sticks, so I guess you could say I'm a faggot.
Now, on a certain level, you get that he's self-aware on the joke, right? It's that wacky edgelord angle where he's saying the awkward thing on purpose to make you hit that record scratch confusion look you made when you first heard it. Now, while someone could probably make the case that it's problematic either way, I'd argue that the final line is at least leaning into the gay panic there. The first two lines are just a reflection of hip-hop's cultural problem with even being perceived as gay, but with the last line, it subverts the expectation where he's willing to be called gay for the sake of the wordplay he's doing. Like with this line about him hiding a gun.
The way I keep it tucked, you might just think that I was trans.
You know, he's not invalidating their identities as people, he's just using incendiary wordplay where the punchline is him being perceived as trans, which is a 180 flip from what any straight rapper is willing to do. My point being that even edgy humor has levels to it. It's not that you can't do it, it's that words still have meaning and can still perpetuate a harmful ideology if not framed properly. And by the way, for those sensitive to self-harm content, maybe skip a couple seconds for this next bit.
I don't give a fuck 'cause I'm a bitch getter. Got a white bitch, see a wrist later.
Ah, holy shit, man, what the fuck?
Got Jewish money, nigga, fuck you.
Okay, I guess fuck Hitler is good, but I feel like there's some awkward implications behind calling it Jewish money.
Let's Septo be your babysitter, 'cause I heard that nigga was a kid diddler.
What? Who the fuck is Seth Tobin?
Yeah, I heard that nigga was a pedophile.
Okay, but why the fuck are you talking about him now?
Liquor sexually take away the kicking.
Ah, okay, that explains a lot. But no, none of that is why I'm including this song as the worst. It's here because of this little storytelling moment.
I talked to Jesse Jones and he told me I should go to Mary's on second. He said that every time that he goes there, it feels just like he's in heaven.
And wait, can you ever guess what's gonna happen next?
I told him, hold on, I love all my niggas, but I don't swing that way. He's like, I'm just playing, don't go there, 'cause that's a club for the gay.
You get it? 'Cause it was a gay bar. Just such an unnecessarily drawn-out setup for a wet fart of a punchline.
I'm like, just tell me how to get mad at or just get the fuck out my face.
Also, I'm like 60% sure your friend was trying to come out to you, but hey, that's his business. So okay, for this next entry, I know some folks probably think you shouldn't include songs that were made in a previous year, but no video editor person, that's not the song I said to queue up. Okay, I'm sure some people want me to talk about this one because the internet people love their self-referential jerk fests. I mean, I could rip on this semi-quasi-viral song for its bonkers production, or for the MC doing that thing all underground rappers do where the message of the song gets lost in a haze of overwritten lyrics and forcing his flow to fit these awkwardly rapped cadences. It's pretty amateur even if you're being nice. But unfortunately, that song didn't come out this past year, it's from like 10 years ago. And I don't think it's fair to include just any song from more than a year ago that happened to get a recent bump in views. That could happen to literally any older song at any time. It'd blow open the floodgates of what would be allowed for the year. Besides, like with the last entry, it kind of feels like you'd be playing his game to react to it. Like with the goofy scream at the beginning. Like, that's clearly being done on purpose. Come on, you think he's not trying to make a moment you're supposed to play for your friend while you record him and watch for their expression? Like, please, let's not be so gullible. A pretty cheap ploy, wait, what's his name again? What, Master Artisan? God, sounds like a pretentious early 2000s underground rapper who uses Renaissance paintings as his album covers. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't want to include some barely recognizable indie rap song that came out like a decade ago. It's gotta be something we hadn't heard until this past year. That said, Wu-Tang Clan still haven't released that Once Upon a Time in Shaolin album that got sold to that farmer bro a few years ago. So since those snippets weren't released until this year, I think that should count as fair game, because most people haven't heard it until now. Plus, it's kind of exciting, right? Finally getting to hear a piece of what all that conversation was all about.
Dragging niggas get stoned to death.
Whoa!
Like the biblical days, like they did in Rome, don't hold your breath.
Jesus Christ, how the hell is that your opening lyric?
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Like, wow, this project was treated like some hollowed secret album, carrying on the tradition of crazy lyrical flips and coded New York slang, and the first thing I gotta hear is historically literal gay bashing? So no, I don't think I will be holding my breath for the shit to drop now, not with that kind of quality control going on. What a fucking sour note to start on. Like, look, I know Wu-Tang isn't filled with the most open-minded guys in the world, but at least have the shame to hide that shit in like track 7 or something, and not just popping off your highly anticipated legacy album with gay people should get stoned, and not in the cool way. And this isn't like that Dave Blunt's lyric where you can at least tell he's trolling and doesn't have any conviction behind it. No, you don't bring up a phrase like gay people get stoned to death just cuz. Also, Ghostface just recently got exposed specifically for abandoning his queer son for over 10 years, so, you know, that doesn't make it sound any better. Oh no, a Kendrick Lamar song on a worst of list? Is your boy coming for the king's head? Nah, not really. It's just for one of the guest rappers who says this.
I kept my mouth closed and I ain't never leave no witness. DOA up on the scene. Tell him Young Thread did it, nigga.
Well, no, don't tell him that you did it. Wouldn't that defeat the whole purpose of keeping your mouth closed and not leaving witnesses?
DOA up on the scene. Tell him Young Thread did it, nigga.
Well, I guess someone's got a thing for having their work acknowledged. Oh man, I got away clean with that murder. The cops are gonna be scratching their heads for years. And I'll never get any acknowledgement for my brilliant handiwork. God damn it. And it was really crafty too, but no one's gonna know it was me. Well, maybe if I tell someone else to tell the cops, I mean, otherwise I'll never be acknowledged for my incredible plan. Huh. So this is why the Riddler leaves clues at the scene of the crime.
They burning the country down with their progressiveness. It started with changing what gender is.
You know, beyond the obvious political grifting for an audience that just wants their talking points uncritically reflected back at them, my problem with the guy is just how blatantly wrong he is about shit. Like, look, we can all have our differences, but if you're just incorrect about something, that's not a difference of opinion. That's just you not willing to accept facts when they don't suit your narrative. Like, for example, this song he made about Trump's failed assassination attempt, where he says this.
Thank God the left can't aim.
But the shooter was found out to be a registered Republican. So that joke doesn't make any sense.
Thank God the right don't riot.
Fucking January 6th, dude. This is what's so frustrating about these conversations. I keep wasting my time with this silly notion of, you know, actually looking up the specifics of shit so I can make an informed decision, when it's like, why bother when guys like this clearly aren't doing the same?
This rap shit divided by panty lines. Which side are you on? Yeah, transgender rights, where do I stand? Oh.
You know, I don't actually enjoy that a lot of these lists end up feeling super political. But honestly, like with the last entry, I try to keep it focused to where it seems like the misconceptions about the issues are. Like with Eminem here, you'd think because he's a controversial rapper, it's gonna go a certain way, but he actually starts off surprisingly progressive.
I'm all for him. I really am pro. Nah, for real.
But it's here where the confusion sets in.
In a chorus, would you what? Would I have? No.
Yeah, that's the thing. No one's asking you to have sex with a trans person. It's just about supporting them through the specific things that trans folks need for their mental well-being, usually healthcare-wise.
Call me a transphobe, really? Cause I just can't go and try and pretend you was never a man, though. Sorry.
So when it comes to stuff like this, I think it's just about considering the perspective of the person in the situation. Because to the person who is trans, they already felt like the gender they naturally felt like before they were pushed to conform to one. So to you, when you see them, you might think it's just someone pretending to be something they're not, but to them, it's having the choice to be what they felt they were all along.
And this ain't even a diss trans people. My dick just won't expand. And the kids won't make it stand.
Yeah, I think you're conflating the idea of general support for trans people with the idea of being willing to have sex with them. But no one's asking you to do that to be an ally. I think this mentality is just a holdover from a time when the only thought most straight guys gave to trans women was this imagined scenario of, oh, I met a hot chick at a bar, but it turns out she's got a dick and she's trying to trick me into being gay. But honestly, that just calls to a general problem that comes along with the dating scene where you meet someone and try to smash before you even really get to know them. Because hey, you might be trying to hit on a girl that wants kids and you don't, and at some point that's going to be a deal breaker if you're not compatible on that level. It doesn't make you a bad person if they want kids and that's not what you're into, just as much as if someone's trans and that's not what you're into. But that said, you can still be all for legislation that makes things easier for parents to take care of their kids, just as much as you can be all for trans people getting the healthcare they need without having sex with them. You can be accepting of gay people and not have to kiss one, right? It's literally the same thing.
But if I say it will, it get me canceled. Yep, my music get banned. Or can it withstand?
Okay, you've been a controversial rapper since you first started rapping, and over 3 decades later, it hasn't slowed down your record sales once, so I don't know where all this fear over cancel culture for you is even coming from.
I gotta participate for us to coexist, damn. I gotta memorize pronouns of a cis man.
Well, a cis man is someone who isn't trans, so that would be the type of gender association you're used to. Guys, I think he's just so confused about the topic, he doesn't even know how to verbalize what it is he's angry at. Because for him to say this,
I gotta memorize pronouns of a cis man.
I feel like he just doesn't know what he's talking about. Because a cis man, that's just he, him. Dude, what's there to memorize? What that's essentially saying is, what, I have to remember that a man is called he? Honestly, I don't even think he knows what cis means. I think the old man just heard a queer person say the word cis-sexual and just went, oh God, there's another sexuality I gotta be aware of? You know, just to start off giving Drake some credit here. If someone hauls off and calls you a kid diddler in the biggest song of the year, you gotta say something back to address it. The problem is, the responses he gave couldn't have made him sound any more guilty.
Only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I'd never look twice at no teenager.
Oh no, dude, don't specifically bring up the girl whom there's video proof of what seems like her accidentally confessing to the awkwardly intimate relationship you guys have.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys. He helps me.
What?
Yeah. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him.
What's his advice with boys?
You know, that stays in the text messages.
And the real issue is, he brings up the accusation at least 2 more times.
If I was fucking young girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested.
Each time less convincing than the last.
This Epstein angle was the shit I expected. TikTok videos you collected and dissected.
Yeah, how the hell are you gonna say you're too famous to get caught up in a child trafficking ring, then mention Epstein, the guy whose whole thing was serving children to celebrities that were rich enough to be above the law? And what especially annoys me here is that each denial of the accusations sounds so disconnected from the other, it definitely gives me vibes that he got at least 3 ghostwriters on call to pitch responses to Kendrick's allegations, and none of the lines they pitched were strong enough on their own, so he just used all of them.
Drake is not a name that you gon' see on no sex offender list. Easy does it. You mention an A minor, but niggas gotta be sharp.
Oh my god, dude, stop! This is one of the key reasons this response was taken so poorly. Not just that he denied it, but that the rhetoric he used was so weak to do so, it came off as someone who didn't actually have a leg to stand on. As I've said before, rap battles are about controlling perception. So for him to have felt the need to address one accusation 3 times, and for none of that to have felt convincing, yeah, that losing strategy is what made him look like the guy who's clearly been backed into a corner. Alright, now it's time to talk about the absolute worst lyric of the year. And of course, it's still Drake. Hey, I'm sorry, but this final lyric truly deserved its own specific segment. And before I get into it, look, I know that if you're a Drake fan, you're pretty tired of Drake being the whipping boy of the internet at this point. And it could be said that, at one point when Drake was the man with the Midas touch, it was oppressive to keep hearing him as the status quo on radio and playlists. And in the same way, it's probably annoying now for you to hear every corner of the internet dunking on him. It's the status quo thing to do now, and it can feel like a cheap shot to just pile onto the losing team. That said, when the mainstream opinion has got a point, they've got a fucking point. And while oftentimes opinion spins a certain way because of the effect of the public getting caught up in the emotional sway that leads them one way or the other, the fact remains, sometimes the mainstream opinion was reached because of a genuine base level comprehension of the facts of what the fuck just happened. Because yes, Kendrick had a scorching back-to-back response with Meet the Grams and Not Like Us, but I genuinely believe that's not what ultimately decided the battle. Nah, it was Drake's failure to make an adequate response that put the nail in the coffin. Because if Drake had taken this shit seriously and actually schemed to make a calculated killer response, we'd be having a more measured conversation about who won. But no, because in addition to the awful lines I previously mentioned of him trying to skirt around the pedo accusations, this was his gambit to try to flip the conversation to his advantage.
My mom came over today and I was like, mother, wait a second. That's that one record where you say you got molested.
That was single-handedly the most contrived way to try and force a segue into a topic I've ever heard in my life. Because for those who don't know, the song he's referencing is Kendrick Lamar's Mother I Sober, in which Kendrick discusses sexual abuse that's gone on in his family. But it's like, you really expect me to believe you were at your crib like, oh man, so I was in the middle of writing my response to Kendrick, but then my mother came over and I started talking to her and I said, hey mother, Mother I, as in Mother I Sober? It's the missing link to the whole equation! Like, first off, what kind of Black Dynamite abstract word association shit is this?
What's the theme from the Pink Panther? Now rewind that and slow it down. And when it ain't dead, he lives in a colony. And another word for colony is a clan, which is short for Ku Klux Klan. Right.
Second, who the fuck refers to their mom as mother when they're talking to them? What are you, a 5-year-old British child? Mother, the boys at school are making fun of me. And third, the point he's awkwardly trying to pivot to is the idea that in the Mother I Sober song, since it's a song that deals with sexual assault, that was Drake's excuse to try and go, oh, so that's the real reason you're so concerned with rape, because you were molested yourself, so you're just traumatized and lashing out. Making fun of a sexual assault survivor makes you look like a good guy.
That's that one record where you say you got molested.
Problem is, he doesn't say that he was molested on that song. He says it happened to other family members. So to fuck up a detail that obvious just shows on his face how desperate you were to try to make a connection that would give you any excuse to bow out of the battle.
This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confessions. That's why these pedophile raps and shit you so obsessed with. It's so excessive. They acting like it's so aggressive. But you just never known affection. I don't want to dish you anymore. This really got me second guessing.
Like, oh yeah, the reason you wanted to bow out is you just didn't want to trigger his PTSD anymore. And totally has nothing to do with him absolutely wiping the floor with your reputation.
Sure, Jan.
And this is why his response failed. You can't have missteps like this, and you're going to pay for it when you do. Especially if you're going to use that cheap volley as the way to step back from the battle and act like you're saving face. No one bought that shit for a second. That's what made the diss track so pitiful. And you know it landed badly because it was so poorly received, Kendrick didn't even feel the need to make another response to it afterwards. It was so clear that he dropped the ball. What else was there even to say?
I give a fuck about your streaming data. You could drop 100 more records. I'll see you later.
Oh yeah, like Drake wasn't the one who started this whole back-to-back drops by releasing 2 songs in a row first. This is what really makes it look like a backpedaling record. The way he deliberately feels like he's backing away from the type of tactics he himself was just using. Also, kinda ironic to hear him say he doesn't give a fuck about streaming data now that he's specifically suing UMG over claims of inflating Kendrick's sales. Yeah, you care about sales so little that you got your fucking lawyers involved. And here's my thing, it's not like Drake didn't get some shots off at Kendrick. But unfortunately, most people scrutinizing a diss track are gonna be thinking about how the song hits them as a whole. And with lines like this as part of your ammo, yeah, you bet the public's gonna feel like your shit just backfired. Or more accurately, like your weapons just fucking fell apart mid-firing. But hell, it didn't have to end this way. If Drake had skipped the long lyrical screed and instead tried to actually make a pop hit out of it, where there's a couple digs at Kendrick, but then he had a big, fun, stupid hook to compete with his, maybe he could have pulled it out, or at least engineered enough of a stalemate to argue that he stood his ground. But nah, he fucking crashed out hard, and the whole world saw it in real time, and that shit was a goddamn shame. Well, that's the episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next year. Peace.